Hello everybody, this is Jason here, your host for Everyday Christian. Today we're going to be reading from the Gospel of Matthew chapter 17. So we're looking at the Transfiguration. After 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James and John, his brother, and brought them up to a high mountain alone, and was transfigured or transformed before them. His face shone as the sun, and his garments or his clothes became white as the light. Suddenly Moses and Elijah appeared to them, talking with him. Then Peter said to Jesus, "Lord, it is good for us to be here. If you wish, let us make 3 tabernacles, or 3 tents, here, one for you, one for Moses and one for Elijah." While he was still speaking, suddenly a bright cloud overshadowed them, and a voice from the cloud said, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him." Now, this bright cloud wasn't an atmospheric cloud. It wasn't like a weather cloud. This is known in the Old Testament as the Shekinah glory. It is a supernatural cloud of God's presence that appeared and overshadowed them. So it wasn't just a cloud that popped out of the sky. This was a manifest presence of God as God's sign that he was there. When the disciples heard this, they fell on their faces and were filled with awe. Now, this is interesting because as that presence of God is manifested, it says they fell on their faces. I wonder if they fell on their faces out of because they chose to, or because they're so overwhelmed by God's presence. It says they were filled with awe. So to me, they couldn't have stood there if they wanted to. They couldn't have just stood there in this presence of God and just looked around, okay, this is kind of nice. They were overcome. And some of us have experienced that time when we've experienced God's presence, where we'll just fall before God in awe. But Jesus came and touched them and said, "Rise, do not be afraid." When they lifted up their eyes, they saw no one but Jesus only. As they came down from the mountain, Jesus commanded them, "Tell the vision to no one until the Son of Man is risen from the dead." His disciples asked him, "Why then do the scribes say that Elijah must come first?" Jesus answered, "Elijah truly does come first, and will restore all things. But I tell you that Elijah has already come, and they did not know him, but did to him whatever they pleased. Likewise the Son of Man will also suffer at their hands." Then the disciples understood that he was speaking to them of John the Baptist. John the Baptist was the fulfillment of Elijah to come. There was a prophecy in Malachi that before Christ would come, there would be a forerunner, a person who would prepare the way, and he would come in the spirit of Elijah. It wouldn't actually be Elijah himself reincarnated, but they would come in the spirit of Elijah. They come in that same authority as Elijah did, that same power in that way. And so that was a fulfillment of John the Baptist preparing the way for Christ. The healing of a boy with a demon. When they came to the crowd, a man came to him and knelt before him, saying, "Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is an epileptic and suffers terribly. He falls into the fire and often into the water. I brought him to your disciples, but they could not heal him." Then Jesus answered, "O faithless and perverse, twisted generation, how long shall I bear with you, or put up with you? How long should I bear with you? Bring him here to me." Jesus rebuked the demon, and he came out of him, and the child was healed instantly. And the disciples came to Jesus privately and said, "Why could we not cast him out?" Jesus said to them, "Because of your unbelief," or your willingness to believe. "For truly I say to you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. But this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting." So evidently they tried to cast this evil spirit out, and it didn't come out because of their unbelief, plus combined with they hadn't prayed up beforehand and they hadn't been fasting. So they weren't really being taking their daily practice seriously enough, especially in this situation. Now notice it says if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed. We hear people often quote and say, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed. It's not faith the size of a mustard seed, okay? Even though mustard seed is very tiny, it says a grain of mustard seed, okay? That is like not even a whole mustard seed, that's just a grain of it, okay? So no matter how tiny your faith is, that's all you need. You just need to put that in God. There's that tiny little bit of faith, and God will hear your prayers and answer your prayers. Now, in this instance with epilepsy, Jesus cast out a demon. Another time, Jesus healed a person who had epilepsy. There's no hard and fast rules, okay, about praying for someone with epilepsy. Sometimes, as we see in this case, epilepsy can be caused by an evil spirit, okay? But that doesn't mean that it's all the time. Sometimes it could be a neurological disorder. And so therefore, in that case, when Jesus healed a person with epilepsy, that would have been indicating that they had a neurological problem, okay? So Jesus didn't just go around casting the devil out of everyone who said they had epilepsy. He didn't assume that everyone had demons in them, okay? And this is where we need to be careful. If we're praying for someone with epilepsy, we need to find out if there's a medical reason, if there's a neurological reason. We should get a little bit of information from the person we're praying for and say, is there a medical reason for this? If they said, well, no reason's been found, then we should still pray and say, Lord, guide and lead me in how to pray for this person. I don't know what's causing it. I don't know whether it's an illness, okay, neurological problem, or whether it's an evil spirit. I'll just pray that you'll give me wisdom to do so. And when you do so, don't treat the person badly, okay? Treat them with kindness and treat them with respect, okay? There's too many people that have been traumatised by someone sticking their hand on them and trying to cast the devil out of them, and they're sort of thinking, well, great, now I thought I was a Christian, but I'm possessed. How I judge the matter is, if you pray for someone and cast an evil spirit out, they will leave, okay? If there is an evil spirit present, it will leave. It will not continue to afflict that person. If I pray for a person and say I've cast out an evil spirit, and they still manifest that problem, then to me it indicates there wasn't a demon there. Okay, it was a physical ailment. It was a neurological problem. And so therefore we need to go down the line of healing instead of deliverance. And do not encourage a person to throw away their medication or you need to tell them to go to the doctors. You need to tell them to go to the doctors, get referred, get scans done, get it medically verified that they are actually free and have the doctor's approval to stop their medication. Okay, throwing your medication away is not faith. That's assumption, okay? Faith is trusting in God. And if you trust in God for your deliverance and for your healing anyway, then when you go to the hospital, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean it's lack of faith. What it means is that you're being careful and you're being wise about it. And Jesus even often told people, go and show yourself to the chief priests and to verify that you are well. Jesus again foretells his death and resurrection. While they were staying in Galilee, Jesus said to them, the Son of Man is about to be betrayed into the hands of men, and they will kill him, and he will be raised on the third day. And they were extremely sorrowful. When they came to Capernaum, those who collected tax money came to Peter and said, does your teacher not pay the tax? He said, yes. And when he came home, Jesus stopped him, saying, what do you think, Simon? From whom do the kings of the earth take custom or taxes? From their own sons or from strangers? Peter said to him, from strangers. Jesus said to him, then the sons are free. However, lest we offend them, go to the sea and cast a hook and take the first fish that comes up, and when you open its mouth, you will find a coin. Take it and give it to them for you and for me. Jesus paid his taxes, basically. So if any of you are out there trying to do tax evasion or fiddle your tax man, don't do it. Take Jesus' example and keep the law of the land as it attains unto righteousness. Okay, well, God bless you. Thanks for joining me today. Tomorrow, the next video I will be joining you in Matthew chapter 18, filled with quite a variety of parables there, so that'll be interesting to see. Please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment or a like. let me know what you think, and please feel free to share this video with whoever you like. God bless you. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day in Jesus' mighty name. Bye bye.